So you got your first property, but it's time to go big. Everyone talks about their first property and it's really great. Congratulations if you got it, and if you're watching and you haven't, keep watching and keep on pushing. Now it's a big celebration, but actually that one property isn't going to make a drastic difference to your life. However, you have taken the first step to number one, financial freedom, and more importantly, a legacy that you're building for the future of your generation and the next. So it's pretty powerful. But how do we scale that up? Well, let's break it down. Step one is even understanding what your goals are. So I use the analogy of a marathon quite a lot, and a marathon is 26.2 miles, right? But in order to complete a marathon, it's not just running 26.2 miles, it's running that distance in a certain direction, following a certain path and getting to a final endpoint. If you go there on the day and you run 26.2 miles in the wrong direction, you don't get a medal. You cannot say you have completed a marathon. And it's very much like that in property. I see the biggest mistakes, and you may be one of them, by the way, and if you are, don't worry about it, where you set your stall out, you go, I want to be a property investor, and then you go out there, no fucking idea of what you want to do, no idea of the strategy of getting there, and then you're just like, yeah, let's do this, and then you go to an education course where they're talking about 4,873,285,031.7 different strategies, and you're like, I need to fucking do all of them. And then you go there, right? You go over here and you go, oh, service accommodation, that sounds really exciting. I go, great, I'm going to make £1,000 a month, I'm going to get a used unit, go over there, going to get this location, bring people in, it's going to be amazing. Oh my God, the house got trashed, a prostitute stayed there, now people are reporting me left, right, and centre, so what am I going to do? And then you know what? Ooh. Rent to rent, I really like that. I like the idea of doing that. That's low risk in. I'm going to rent that, pay the landlord £1,000, rent out each room £500, worked out my bills at £500. I'm going to make £500 profit. This is going to be amazing. Going to be financially free. Oh my God. One tenant's fighting with another tenant. One tenant's got in a fight and trashed the door. They've stopped paying. Then they've encouraged that person to stop paying. This is a shitstorm. Do you know what? Rent to rent's not for me. Ooh, new build. What a great opportunity. I could find one property and make £100,000 profit. You get the point, right? You get the shiny penny syndrome. You go, ooh, that one sounds good. Over here, over here, over here. And the reason that happens is you don't have clarity on the end goal. Now, the more clarity you have on your end goal, the more likely you are to succeed. And yes, that's because of anchoring. So you wake up each day, where am I today? Where do I want to get to? What am I doing today that's going to get me there? And by the way, you should be doing that in all areas of your life to achieve results. But also, you can measure your expectations. For me, for example, I'm 31 at the time of filming this. My end goal by the time I'm 35, which is very quickly coming up, is to have 100 million in assets, okay? 100 million property. Now, imagine you're building a skyscraper for a second. If I said, right, I want you to build a block of apartments that's 10 stories high. Okay, just try to visualize it. And now I say, actually, I want you to build a skyscraper that's 100 stories high. What you would hopefully agree on is I'm going to spend so much time, years in the ground, building a £100 million business or a 100-story building, right? So many foundations, so much in there. And so other people like, why is this happening? Well, you're not doing very well, are you? But I know what's coming. And it's the same with my portfolio. I know, so I've got an education business, I've got a property business and a loans business. They're my main three. My property business is my biggest, followed by my education business. I make roughly 6 million a year. How much profit do I make? As next to zero as possible. Why? Because I'm constantly reinvesting, because I don't give a shit about the 6 million. It's my end goal. It's the ambition. It's the growth. It's what culture I'm trying to create here. But other people from an outside are like, why aren't you driving around in all your different cars? Why aren't you going on all this stuff? And it's like, well, actually, it's reinvested. I want to grow. And what it allows me to do is not get distracted, because building a 100-story building is really, really difficult. You come up with complexities that you're just not aware of. But let's bring this back to reality a little bit. If you know your target is building a portfolio of 10 serviced accommodation units or 10 buy-to-lets, and you've got absolute clarity of what time that's going to take, what resources it's going to take from a financial point of view, you can then create a game plan, an action plan on how to achieve that. And you know what's going to come up. It's going to feel shit when you refinance and it down values. It's going to feel shit when a tenant doesn't pay on time. But the more you understand what's involved in your goals and your journey, the more likely you are to follow it. And genuinely, if there were one key to success and therefore one key to failure on the other side of this, is people that don't give up. Number one tip to success is just keep moving. Honestly, that is it. And of course, adapt. reflect, grow, increase your skill set. But most people that fail is because they stopped. That's pretty much it. So clarity on your goals means you will execute upon them. Now that you understand them, you need to think about the money. Property is not a cheap thing, in case you haven't noticed. It's a pretty expensive hobby at the best of times. And then when you're trying to create these goals, it's incredibly unlikely that you have the money available. Now, if you are somebody watching this and you've got millions and millions to invest, great, get in touch. We can have a chat, all right? But on the most part, maybe you've got 100 grand there. Maybe you've got 0 there. Honestly, it doesn't really matter which it is. Like, I started with minus 33 grand, right? Credit cards and loans to start with, start what I've got today and scaled what I've got today. Every single billionaire you know is in billions of debt. In fact, if you think of the richest man in the world right now, which is Elon Musk, he happens to be in the top 5 most debt-ridden individuals in the world as well. Okay, how can that be? Because that's how the world works. If you want to be a millionaire, you have millions of debt. If you want to be a billionaire, you have billions of debt. If you want to be 100,000-aire, you have hundreds of thousands of debt. And that's how we scale. So what you want to think about, and write this down, is your network is your net worth. When you're thinking about your resources, think outside of yourself. Now, the reason why this is relatively simple, I wouldn't say easy, but simple, is if I know my goal is to have 10 buy-to-lets, all of them are 125 grand each. That's a 1.25 million pound portfolio. I'm probably going to need about 400 to 500,000. Let's say 400,000-ish money. Let's say I've only got 100 grand. That's great. That's enough to get me started building up the portfolio. But where am I going to get that 300,000? Well, you could go, actually, I'm going to do this over a 20-year period. So I'm going to refinance the properties through capital growth and just carry on buying and buying and buying and then add to the pot as I'm earning more money. Amazing. Or if you're like me, you might want to accelerate your journey. So then what I would do is I would buy a couple of properties, so I've got proof of concept with my money, and then I would go out there to other investors to loan me the money at a low interest, buy the properties, pay them an interest while the money's in the property, and then when I'm refinancing, I will pay down those investors one by one. And remember, your network is your net worth. On that note, a cheeky little pluggeroony here. If you're watching this and you do have 100,000 and you want to invest in property, but you don't want to get the first one wrong, that's where we can help you scale your portfolio. And that's my company called Aspire Property Group. If you want to have a chat about that, just put APG in the comments. That's APG in the comments. I'll reply with a link. You'll fill in your details. We'll be in touch and we'll book you in for a free one-to-one strategy session where we'll work out where you're at, where you want to get to, and if we can help you on that journey. And as at the time of recording this, we're doing that completely free. So APG in the comments. Next, now that you understand the goals and where you want to get to, you've got your finance, then it's getting clarity around the property criteria and then the sourcing angle. So clarity around the criteria is, I was talking to a couple of partners last night actually on this, that a key strategy for me building this £100 million portfolio is title splits. So I'm buying a freehold block, which is freeholds when you own the ground underneath it and the sky above it, and then I'm splitting it up into leaseholds, so each individual unit is its own isolated asset, and then I'm refinancing on the enhanced value, okay? So I might buy a £5 million block, restructure it, refinance at 7 million, and then I've got a load of money to go again, and that's a key strategy. And they were like, well, what about if a great commercial conversion comes up? What about if this development opportunity comes up? We can do those. And it's like, no, we do freehold blocks, add value, change the structure, and refinance. Remember, inch wide, mile deep. Get absolute clarity on what you're looking for. And the more clear you are on what you're looking for, and more importantly, what you're not looking for, number one, the right people are going to be in touch. Number two, you're not going to get distracted. And by the way, I am coming across as an absolute hypocrite now, because over the last few years, I've been distracted so much. And every single time I've gone, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, what about this? What about that? It's just fucked me. It has. It's distracted me so much from all these different angles, and it detracts you rather than keeps you in line for success. So get absolute clarity on where you're at. Inch wide, mile deep, and then start the source and angle. Use the 3-foot rule. Tell everyone what you're doing, and you'll start attracting the right people from the investor side and the opportunity side so that you can reach your goals. As I mentioned earlier, guys, if you've got the money but not the time to invest, just put APG in the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, and it really does help me if you just take 2 seconds and hit the like button. The algorithm seems to like it a lot, and I'll like you in return. And if you did get value and you're new to the channel, you want to find out more about property, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to make sure you get access first to the next video.